Welcome back to the Shoulder Challenge month. We're on week 3, day 21. Today we're going over WorkSpaces, how to implement those in your everyday life, also how you can use it as an assessment tool and the tool itself. And then we're going to dive into managing time and how that affects your whole life and how you can implement WorkSpaces and other exercise tools into the times that you often have free. So when we go into this WorkSpaces, when you can utilize this the best is in the morning when first waking up or when going to bed the night prior. When you are sleeping anywhere from an average of 6 to 8 hours, the joints become stagnant. There's less fluid exchange. The tissues surrounding the joints and throughout your body become relaxed. The older you get, they become stiff, less flexible, less pliable. So oftentimes, especially for older folk or people from injuries that haven't addressed those, it takes a little while for the body to get up to speed. So as we go through the movements and how you can accelerate this, not only to get that under control, but get under control long term so you don't even have these problems. And that's through moving the joints through the biggest range of motion possible, or WorkSpaces, if you will. That is a clear filter to the brain. And based on the joint, compared to all the other tissues around it, that's the first signal that goes put up to the brain. So if there's something wrong with that joint, it's automatically going to send resources and signal down to tighten up and guard the area. So the more you can get movement there, the less guarding on a subconscious level the brain's going to send, thus for more mobility. So when we go in through the assessment through the biggest circle, maybe there's other factors in your life, like you're moving houses, playing with the kids, worked out, and you notice these different areas of tightness that you normally don't have. Or now when I come back, there's this weird poppy clicking tension. How do I address that? And why is that important? Well, first off, if you start having any areas of pain, that's the last thing to present itself. So in order to get this under control long term, it's going to take some time. It's not a quick fix, unfortunately. When you go into the WorkSpaces, you want to see what direction you're moving and what bones are we trying to move relative to one another. So for what that means is when I'm moving the arm backwards, I want to look and see, is it open angle pain or is it closed angle pain? Or this is a better example, is it closed or is it open? And I'm talking specifically tissues on the upper back shoulder. So if I'm moving my arm up and it's sharp tension, first off, we want to go around it and then continue on both directions. What that means is either one of which there's not enough space in the joints. So for example, the ball and socket joint on the top portion when I'm coming up, where the tissues overlying are incredibly tight. So it's going to take some time, effort to allow for fluid exchange into that exact area, blood flow for healing of tissues, getting the waste products out. And that's often where WorkSpaces come in and do really, really well. The second thing that could be going on is if you're very hypermobile or very, very flexible, you could have a loose, sloppy joint to where the connective tissue around that joint doesn't have the stability it needs, and then it moves over and then can pinch off on the joints, nerves, tissues around there, and then it also causes sharp pain as well. And now you have to address those in two different ways. So let's say you're very, very flexible and you notice there's sharp pain when coming up here. Well, it's telling me more than likely it's probably loose, sloppy space. So how can you stabilize the joint? Now that's going to require a lot of movement, energy, and focus throughout. So when you're coming up, you want to go incredibly slowly. Let's say, oh, I have pain here. Go around. Is there pain? Okay, yes. Is there pain? Yes. Okay, is there pain? No. And then continue on. Keep assessing as you go through. Same thing, opposite direction. Now, when you come to this area, be cautious because you want to see, is there pain? No. Yep, sharp pain. Come up or around. Sharp pain. Nope. Okay, and then back around. So you can see I'm able to move here forwards, but here backwards. So the problem is going to be on the top portion. First off, to address that area, if it's a loose, sloppy space, grab a tennis ball, foam roller, and we want to put pressure on that area where you have the degree of pinching sharp pain, okay? We want to lengthen that tissue, so we're going to move in the opposite direction. We're going to stand up next to a wall with pressure there, and then try to move your arm in the opposite direction with some rotational work. Anywhere from a couple minutes at a time throughout your day. Now, if there's not enough joint space in that ball and socket joint and sharp pain, let's say you're older in life, you're not flexible, you don't have a past history of gymnastics, cheer, oftentimes it's probably lack of space in the joints. You can confirm that through an x-ray, MRI, and that's where, as you go through and you feel that sharp pain, go off of that a little bit and then find a wall to put pressure into that area in different ranges of motion coming across, but not into that sharp pain angle, okay? Now let's say you have the bottom side of your arms coming up and around, and then there's some tightness tension on the bottom side or the open angle side, or this is a better example. When we come up and around the area on the front, the arm is moving away from, so that's open angle. If there's tightness there, we want to push the fullest range of motion with the workspace as much as we can, or on the opposite side in which you move, putting pressure into the wall with different areas of rotation for longer periods of time, anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds. When starting off, the intensity level should be anywhere from, if it's a really bad acute injury, 5% to 25% intensity. If you've had this for a while, chronic, you want to go anywhere starting off 25% maximal energy intensity to 75%. After a few sessions, you can work that way up to 100% for longer periods of time. So close angle, open angle pain. So that is the assessment tool. So when we are talking about time management, there's a few things that are involved with this. We have to take into consideration, what are your priorities? When I say priorities, what is your main focus? What is your motivation, drive? Is it caring for your family? Is it passing this test in school? Is it becoming athlete, first team, all state? Is it trying to get that job? All external things, but where is your motivation, drive? Okay. The one thing that people definitely need to realize is, until you get your mind and body on the same page, all these other external tasks can become way more challenging. The easier your mind and body function, the easier it is for you to accompany and to achieve any of these external tasks. That's why exercise, you increase a lot of the energy systems throughout your body. It helps you with energy, less fatigue throughout the day, better mental cognitive function. But you have to take a priority of what are the things that can get you to these external goals. Now, I'm going to call out some of the parents out there, and I have a lot of respect for every parent. But when your kid looks at you on a subconscious level, they are ingraining a lot of the habits that you already have. So if you put yourself on the same page as them in terms of priority, or yourself even a little bit more, they're going to find that to be, this is the norm. This is something that we have to focus on long term. But there's boundaries, there's time, there's a bunch of other situations as they grow up that you're going to run into. If you keep that as a base, part of the foundation for your relationship with that individual and your family, it's going to set you up better long term, especially as a respectful standpoint. So priorities are one. Second off, the time that we have in our day is based on a 24-hour cycle. There's only so much time throughout the day, to where time is the most valuable asset any human has. When you take a broad scope back and look at your time on this planet, What impact can you make for the world, for your family, for generations to come? If you look at this, do you know your family members from 6 generations ago? I probably would bet most people don't have a clue what they've been through, don't even know who they are. Yes, technology is going to change this for the future, but it'll start here. How can you improve you? How can you improve your family for generations to come? Talk to you about a story in terms of sacrifice. And for myself, early on, as I graduated from chiropractic school, and even before then in undergrad, I spent a lot of time working on myself, working on certain systems of how the muscles, tissues play together, and how does that affect not only the mind, the spirit. And I started going through these different areas. I have a better understanding day by day on how things function. That can help a lot of people. And I sacrificed a lot of friends, family, and the relationships that I built before then. But for the betterment, good moving forward for not only my family and generations to come, but hopefully for the world long term. And how can we understand what our bodies are able to do and as a tool to help us through these external factors in life? And that is my sacrifice. There's small things that you can do instead of going through mindless, aimless tasks throughout your day, especially if you're on your phone, social media, just scrolling, especially if you find yourself eating certain common foods over and over again. A lot of these habits that you've already ingrained are all coming back to circuits in your brain that make you feel normal if you are in and going through these certain tasks, or you feel calm, less anger, less tension when you're scrolling and looking at people, or if it's so bad, judging people, writing nasty comments and hiding behind a screen. You have to take a step back and see, okay, how can I change myself? Looking in the mirror, not pointing the finger, but pointing the thumb. In terms of time management, there's priorities. Set your priorities. If you get your body and mind on the same page, everything else becomes easier. Let's first take into consideration Time Block Planner. I took this from a page from Elon Musk, to where you can find these online. It's pretty much all the hours of the day, anywhere from 5 o'clock or 5:30, and how can you zone in what things are on your schedule for that day. There's tasks that you can bring in and place in the areas, and where are the priorities. Priorities must come first. Those are often jobs, responsibilities, taking the kids to school. And then where can we add these tasks that you want to accomplish throughout the day? And oftentimes I put the top ones priority or a star amount on the side. There's other notes, reminders as well. But that's where you can start filling your calendar for the day, whether it's for the week on Sunday, looking at Monday through Sunday for the upcoming week, or when you get up in the morning, going through WorkSpaces, thinking in my mind, okay, yes, this joint's good, but what stuff do I have going on today? Do I have a meeting with someone at lunch? Do I have to make certain phone calls? Do I have to take Jimmy to soccer practice? So not only you're assessing, but you can duplicate that. And if you have a notepad down saying I have to do all these things, that notepad can then get funneled to the time block planner or just the calendar on your phone. So let's take a step back. 24 hours in the day. How many hours do you sleep? Average, let's say 8 hours. Okay, that brings it to 16. How many hours are you spent at work in the morning? How many hours are you spent at work in the afternoon? Anywhere from Monday through Thursday, an average for most of you, let's say 8-hour workday, 4 with an hour to a lunch in the middle. What responsibilities do we have from waking up, getting the kids ready, taking them to school, driving? What time frame do we have give on there? And then when we get home, feed the family. What responsibilities do we have that night? And then what areas of free time do we have? Whether that's a few minutes, whether that's a few hours. Where can we implement certain tasks to help build ourselves up? So for most people, you're going to find time either in the morning, especially if you're a morning person, So a lot of times people at lunch, they go home, they're at work, they're eating lunch, they're on their phone. Can we eat lunch and then go for a walk, go outside, do certain movements, go through workspaces, incorporate any of the challenges, exercises that we've given you throughout this shoulder challenge month? Can we implement that? Because it only takes a few minutes, anywhere from a few to 10 minutes. And is there certain time frames at nighttime when we're relaxing for the night? Can we sit on the ground? Can we do certain push-ups, bear crawls, just even in times of commercial? You just need certain little movements throughout the day to not only accelerate your metabolism, build up tissue. If you have to buy weights, work out at home in your living room. Like there's certain small things that, again, priority. You are your nervous system and your mind. Your body is pretty much your meat wagon that you're taking that through until the day you die. But the body oftentimes gives out way before the brain and nervous system. But if you're implementing poor food choices, poor habits, not enough exercise, that will wear down on not only your body, but your brain, your mental state, talking the factors of Alzheimer's, dementia, long term. So this is important for all humans. So when we look back at the tasks for today, 24-hour time cycle, on average, I want you writing down and knowing when you can implement other small tasks and what things can you give up, whether it's screen time on your phone, whether that's taking a nap and getting restful sleep on a consistent basis for the nights coming up. And then also when assessing your body on a daily basis, going through in the morning and at night, going through all the joints, especially shoulders due to this challenge. And that is your task for today. Very, very important one. So we're going to see you on the next one. We'll keep rolling from there.